everyone, it's your favorite homegirl Giggles, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you. You know, yesterday really motivated me to talk more in depth about my story regarding mental health. When Homegirlz Dakota Stone created this campaign, bringing love and light to the streets, it was really important for us to really bring really dark experiences that we've had, that we've managed and suffered alone. And if we'd only been given the opportunity to have someone there for us, to be safe to talk about what we were struggling with, our lives may have been a little bit different. So what we're showing in our campaign is we've all lived in this dark space. But because we began to talk about and create safe spaces for one another, uplift and support the hurts that we've gone through, and be really empathetic to one another, it's created this opportunity for us to live in color. That was the whole point of our campaign. And I'll be honest, our campaign was put on hold. It was supposed to be completed through the holidays, and we still have some more stories to share. But guess what? Mental health was real for me. And right after the new year, I took a deep, dark plunge. And that deep, dark plunge was really, really scary for me. And I kind of isolated. I found myself so deep, and I don't want to call it a funk because it was so much more than a funk, but it was such a deep darkness that I couldn't find the light. I really disconnected from my spirituality. I disconnected from my support team because I don't like to let other people know that I'm hurting. It's really hard for me to ask for help, and I've shared about this in previous videos. But I have to learn that I have to, because that's when the change began to happen for me, is when I began to let even my son know that I was struggling, and I was having suicidal thoughts in my head. It scared me, and I have too much to lose. But a part of me is in the work that I do, I don't want people to think, oh, she's having these suicidal attempts, she's going to cause damage to the people that she works with. No, those thoughts and me being honest with you guys and sharing it with you lets you know that I'm real, that I go through shit, and take me off that motherfucking pedestal. I'm not perfect. I've had times in my past with Homegirlz Dakota Stone when someone has told me you can't give what you don't have, because I was still doing this work in my addiction or when I was in a really violent relationship. And they're like, you can't give what you have. But it was saving my ass in those times where I was in deep darkness. And I have to learn to unwind that tape that was, kind of put in my mind. Because just because I'm not perfect does not mean I don't have a message. And that's the whole point of Homegirlz Dakota Stone, is that we are who we are behind our lived experiences, behind our stories. And that's how we give back to one another. And that's what brings light into our lives. So back to that dark space that I was in, when I was finally able to I'm hurting, I don't feel good, I'm scared. That people were like, wow, why didn't you reach out? We're recognizing your kind of distance. And I'm so blessed, so blessed. And what really was the homegirl that I look at as a big sister. She took me out to go have some coffee and break bread together. And just talking and sharing things with her that I don't get to really talk about saved my ass. And I gotta say that I was fearful about my finances right now. I'm fearful about, am I going to be able to have a roof over my head? Because a big part of my story is the fear of being homeless, because I've been homeless in the streets with my kids. There was so much in here. And I'd wake up in the morning because I couldn't get to the solutions. But the solution was just letting it out. Having that ear, someone who truly wanted to listen to me, be there for me, and was so understanding. And her sharing her story with me was this. And it made me realize this is what the whole campaign was about, right? My homegirl helped me walk myself in the darkness into light. It's because she committed her time to me, her heart to me, her thoughts, her experiences, and she gave me a safe space to talk about mine. And so with that, and being able to finally share my story yesterday, we have some more that will be coming up over the next few weeks, because we want to continue this conversation, not just through the holidays. Darkness comes when life's in session. So I'm completely grateful to all those who have been there for me, who have listened to me, who have given me an ear to express what I'm going through, the ones who have made me laugh, in really dark moments when they maybe not realized I was not feeling that great about myself, and recognizing and realizing that I'm worth being taken care of at times when I can't do it alone. And so with that, I was able to share my own story yesterday, and it was so powerful and yet emotional, right? Because it's really meaning that I have to begin to talk about things that I've kind of put on hold because of other people's certain situations right now. As you guys all know, I'm currently married, working on the process of getting divorced, and it's hard. It's hard because I feel like I failed. I feel like I did them wrong. I feel like I did all these bad things when in reality I was doing myself wrong by staying in this marriage, by not being true to myself. And that's kind of how our relationship has been. That has not mean we have not loved each other the best that we could with what we have. But for me, that's not enough. And recognizing my worth is really important for my mental health. So where do I begin? I've done previous videos about, my abandonment issues from day one, my sexual assault as a child, the addiction to food, my weight gain. But I really want to kind of focus now into what has led to today, previous to moving to Tijuana. In 2019, I had made a commitment to myself. I called it the Chingona Project because my number one goal was to move to LA. That's where my heart was at. That's where I wanted to center my work. But you know what? The universe had a bigger plan for me. I didn't expect that I had to go in a downward spiral. I had to lose myself and do a lot of things that went really against my values and beliefs. The 2019, I fell in love. I now understand what love bombing is. But, I was really pulled in, and I took accountability for the need to wanting to be loved because those are wounds that I really had to work on, right? But at that time, I was in such a need for validation, and I found that through this certain individual. Previous to moving here to where I live now, I would come see this person every weekend. I'd be the financial means to pay for it, Airbnbs, hotels, which is cool. I had the finances back then. But it wasn't until the moment of desperation that, I found myself back in a violent relationship. And I hadn't had that experience in a long time. And it was very traumatizing because this person was triggered through jealousy and just me being on social media, right? Having some kind of presence in the work that I do. And this person took it to heart, and he was triggered. And what I remember finding is myself laid out on a bed in a hotel. And it's crazy because I pass this hotel every single day when I go to the border. So it took me a while to not be triggered by passing this space because it's always that remembrance. But, it was very... To not have been a part of violence for a minute and to find myself in a space where I was very proud of who I was, to find myself thrown on a bed with someone on top of me and their hands around my throat I remember just crying and begging him to please let me go, because it was like, how did I get back here after all these years? I remember just crying and begging and thinking about my children, here I am, they're going to find my body in a hotel and they're not going to know what happened. I was scared. And I felt helpless, and I didn't know how to ask for help because I was in a space where I didn't feel like I would be helped. I just remember crying and just thinking about this is how my children, my parents are going to remember me. I was thinking about their hearts being broken, and it's crazy when you feel like your life is coming to an end. All these thoughts that go through your head are so real. Thank goodness he finally let go before it was too late. And I ran to the bathroom, locked myself in there, and I was like, how can I change this scenario? I'm so scared of this individual. I remember getting a razor out of my makeup bag, taking off the razor and trying to cut myself. I remember looking in the mirror like, damn, I've been here before. I've been in this space, this moment of desperation, and I don't know how to get out. Luckily, he locked in the door. He kicked in the door, and it like switched the dynamics, right? Because then all of a sudden he's fearful because he's seeing me try to take my life, and he now became the savior. And I think that's what saved me in that moment. He held me hostage for the night, and the next day was just heartbreak. A heartbreak that someone who told me they loved me could cause that kind of harm to me. And you know, it began the cycle again for me with violence, domestic violence in my life. I would have thought that I would have been like, cut him off. It was about a month later that I chose to move to where I'm at now. And I was like, I'm going to lift him up. I'm going to save him. I'm going to fix him. And I've come to realize I have no fucking power to fix nobody. Nor do I want the responsibility. I'm no motherfucker's mother. That's my anger. You know, and during that time is when I began to make a name for myself more on social media about sharing my experiences. I did share about what had happened with that individual. And I got so much love and support from all of you. And also, like, just, it felt so good to know that not only was I not alone in the process, but I was also able to help other people find the freedom in their own voices and their own stories. But the sad part is the violence continued. Their drug addiction continued. And it went to a very deep, dark space. You know, I'm going to talk more in my next videos about the sexual abuse that I went through with that partner. And how I just lost a sense of who I was, you know. And I think I tell this stories, and it's so important because even right now, when I'm going in my life, you know, my husband reached out to me and he's telling me that people are telling him that I'm moving on with my life, whoop-de-woo, and I'm such a bad person. But you know what's fucked up is people are looking at my stories and running back to it, which is cool. I ain't trying to hide it, like I said. But the reality of it is you don't know the story behind it, the hurt behind it. All you know is the chismes. And it really sucks that us, the community, still feel the need, not understanding the huge impact on people's lives. I don't think people recognize, and I don't get to talk about it, right? I have a lot of fear living out here by myself because of the damage that was done in my marriage, previous to marriage, but the relationship. You know, and I'm going to go into my next video and I'll share more, like I said, about the sexual abuse. But I want you guys to be really aware of when my husband got picked up a year and a half later after I left that previous partner that was abusing me. My husband was picked up because we've been watched for the last year and a half after something had happened and he had been shot. To only imagine the kind of lifestyle that we were living in, the things that were a part of my life, the things I begged this person to not bring into my life, the things that he connected me to. And I was such a broken person. So I'm going to end this video because I really want you to take into consideration when you go running back, make sure you know the story. Make sure you know the hurt, because you never know what you're causing or the hurt you're inflicting on somebody else. No one knows the full story. It's time for it to be told. And on that note, I'm so grateful that I'm not in that dark space, that my mental health is in a better, it's more logical. I'm able to find solutions for myself. I have loving people who are helping me and supporting me. I'm doing the footwork, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to all of you, and I look forward to sharing more of my story with you because it's crazy. But guess what? It was all me.